This is Pastor Jenny. I skipped yesterday. I know I had promised to do it every single day, but Sunday is a particularly busy day for my husband and I, for our family in general, because we are very, very busy with serving the Lord with ministry. Um, so thank you for your patience, but I am back with 30 days to a healthier and a happier you. I changed skinnier to healthier because we are after a lot more than weight loss. As you guys know, I am Pastor Jenny McIntyre. If you haven't yet, welcome to our community of online community. We get together through YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we do live together, which is why the channel is called Live with Jenny McIntyre. Today is the third day of our 30-day series, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing with your friends. Today's topic is extremely important because it has to do with nutrition and our relationship with food is going to be absolutely instrumental in our success to weight loss and to health. I am a regular person that still struggles with food issues, but one of the first things that I had to do was to accept that. If you go right now to a travel agency and you tell the person, hey, I want a ticket to, well, if you call them, because if you go, then it's obvious where you're leaving from, right? But if you call them and you say, I want a plane ticket, the first thing they're going to ask you is, where are you departing from? And to go from point A to point B, you have got to know what that point A is. So when we make a lot of excuses about our relationship with food, then we are in a very tough spot. And the reality is that I grew up in a very poor family in Panama, and food was not abundant all the time. Sometimes we did okay, but some other times it wasn't so much. So I spent a lot of time feeling hungry as I was growing up. And when you lack something, when you are deprived of something, then you tend to focus on that something. And after I married John at age almost 30, I came to the United States of America, and I completely overestimated my ability to deal with all the changes that I was facing, from marrying a guy that lives 3,000 of miles away from my country of natural origin, leaving that country, marrying into a different family, marrying into a different culture, marrying into a different racial group, which not a big deal in Panama, but in the United States, truly a big deal. There were just so many. I stopped practicing law. Originally, I thought I was going to practice law in the United States, but then they wanted to send me back to law school. And there were just so many things all together, and I found refuge in food, and I would have never admitted that openly until my weight became an issue. And my weight became an issue because I went from living in sunny Panama, where I would walk every day and exercise outside every day, to being in cold Wisconsin, where many months of the year are very cold, at least for me and what I'm used to. And I started eating in front of the refrigerator, so I had more access to food, more access to food that had a lot of preservatives, which is a complete different topic that we are going to cover in these 30 days, but particularly more access to food and more time to just veg and relax and don't do a whole lot of things, because at least at the beginning, I mean, to trust me, it didn't take that long, but at least at the beginning of my stay in the United States, I wasn't as busy as I was in Panama, and all that got me used to eating, eating for comfort, eating to make me feel better because I was very homesick. And so the for today, the plan is to ask, how is your relationship with food? Remember, I am not a doctor. I am just a lady that lost 145 pounds in the last 6 years, and I want for you to come along with me. I still have an addiction with food in that I don't necessarily eat to satisfy my hunger. If I stopped when I'm full, that would be a different story. But I normally, if I'm eating something that I really, 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 really like, I keep eating it until I feel kind of sick. So this is a constant struggle for me. And I come before you as in every area of my life, not as someone that has accomplished it, but as someone that is still struggling through it. And so the first step that we need to establish in order to get a better nutrition is to establish what is our relationship with food. Are we eating because we're hungry, and are we able to stop when we're full, or do we just eat mindlessly in front of the TV or in front of the computer? It's extremely important because you know what? 65 to 70% of your weight loss is going to be directed to what you eat and how often you eat. And I'm going to start going a lot deeper into this, but before I do, since this is a journey we're in together, I want to ask you, what is your relationship like with food? Do you eat because you're hungry? Do you eat because you enjoy food? And see, the truth is somewhere in the middle. I believe that God wants us to enjoy eating. I believe that God wants us to enjoy food, but there's a balance. There's a balance to be stricken between eating because we just love food versus eating because we're hungry. And yes, we should enjoy our food, but we should also know when to stop. Can we listen to our body? I can listen to my body now, but for the longest time, as I grew more and more and more accustomed to have a lot more access to food because finances were no longer an issue, that voice of my body saying, Jenny, you are full, you can now stop eating, became lower and lower and lower. So the first thing we need to do is we need to recognize that we have a problem, that we have a problem with food, that we don't know when to stop. Or if we know when to stop, we don't measure the kind of food, the quality of food that we're eating. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a big portion of this battle towards health and better weight. Admit, if that's your case, of course, that you have a problem with food. Find out what that problem with food is. Find out how you feel when you're eating. Are you stressed? Are you super tired? And if those are the places where you go when you're super tired, and that maybe means that you need a little bit more rest. If you go towards food when you're stressed out, and that probably means that you need to lower your level of stress. And yes, in my case, I have prayed, and prayer is my go-to place. I go to God and I ask Him to remind me who the Lord of my life is, and to remind me that I can control my appetite, that I can control my passions, and obviously, food is one of those. And so, my advice to each one of you is to come to a realization, think it through, truly, like sit yourself in front of a piece of paper and ask yourself questions like this: what is my relationship with food? Why do I eat? Is there a balance between my hunger and my and how attached I am to eat food and certain types of food, or is it just because I refuse to control myself, or I can't control myself? When did this become a problem? And the reason this is important, again, is because you can exercise all day long, but if you are not eating the right stuff, and if you are constantly eating all day long, snacking, then that's going to become a problem for you. So I am going to leave it here because my purpose was just to open us to start thinking about nutrition, about what we put into our mouth. And I want to encourage you to think about these things and leave me your comments as to what you come to, and we'll go from there. My friends, I love you very much. This is Pastor Jenny. We will continue our talk about nutrition tomorrow, and tomorrow we will tackle frequency of eating because there's a lot of debate about it. I'm going to tell you what worked and what didn't work for me and what the science says about it. I love you. Take good care, and join me tomorrow for our fourth day to a healthier and happier you. Talk to you later. Bye.